First it was Google, then AT&T, and now NASDAQ. They're all victims of computer hackers. The NASDAQ OMX Group, the company that runs the second largest U.S. stock exchange, confirmed over the weekend that its computer network had been infiltrated. According to NASDAQ, the attackers targeted a website for corporate directors and didn't affect any of its trading platforms. With us by phone to help us assess the situation and the state of cybersecurity is Tom Kellermann. Tom is president of Security Awareness and Government Affairs for Core Security. He's also a member of President Obama's Commission on Cybersecurity. Tom, should we assume that anybody trying to break into a stock exchange is going after inside information?
We should. We should respect the fact that many of these criminal syndicates are very well versed as to the nuance of the financial sector, and financial gain is obviously their primary motive.
So the fact that they did not actually get into the trading platform that NASDAQ runs and only got into this website for corporate directors, should we take any comfort in that? Or is it just a matter of NASDAQ having been lucky?
The level of sophistication shown by these hackers and the reality is that it's taken a year-long versus investigators' time to fully flesh out the details of this illustrate that they could actually be anywhere. For their own benefit, it's far easier for them to manipulate virtual or insider trading via a digitized presence instead of actually moving monies, and it's probably safer that way.
Okay, they could be anywhere, and it's easy for them, or at least you point out that they can, a virtual attack is a whole lot better than a physical attack, at least as far as the risks to the hackers are concerned. Are companies like NASDAQ underestimating the threat that cyber criminals pose? NASDAQ, as you well know, calls itself effectively a technology company, not a stock exchange company.
They are. There's an element of plausible deniability. Many folks do not want to understand how vulnerable they are to exploitation. Many organizations don't actually test their defenses and overly rely on technological solutions to solve these hacker problems. That being said, there's a lot of tweaks in policy and procedure, and I think a lot of lack of respect for the adversary that exists in the environment.
Tom, do you have any idea what percentage of companies here in America, big companies, financial companies perhaps as a subset, have been attacked by hackers?
Have been attacked. Everyone's been attacked. Everyone gets attacked every day. Successfully infiltrated, I would say about 75%, most of which do not disclose because of the obvious nature of reputational risk. But the Internet's a very hostile environment, which is why the Commission for the President exists for cybersecurity.
So here's a key question then. If you do business with the NASDAQ, if you either list your stocks on the NASDAQ or you're thinking or you trade on the NASDAQ, how concerned should you really be at this point?
For those entities that connected to the application that was compromised, I would be very worried about the security of those devices that connect to the application and any of the users and lines of trust that exist within those applications. The number one danger from this type of attack, from my humble perspective, is the reality of digital insider trading.
Okay, so you made a very key point there. This may not actually end at the NASDAQ, and the investigation that NASDAQ is conducting together with law enforcement may find out that these hackers have used the penetration of NASDAQ systems to actually get to other people's computers, perhaps board members at some of the member companies of the NASDAQ itself.
This type of leapfrogging happens in most hack attacks. It's called transiting. Hackers not only colonize the original target, but they attempt to colonize anyone that links to those trusted lines of communications.
So what happens next?
What happens next is, obviously, the great men of the U.S. Secret Service and FBI will finish this investigation, but more than likely it will lead to a dead end somewhere in Eastern Europe due to the realities that many of these hackers are foreign nationals. And many of these hackers use compromised devices to relay their attacks. What happens, hopefully, after that is an awakening on Wall Street that we need to actually begin to test and improve our layered security of our critical infrastructures before they're exploited by hackers.
A call to action, if I've ever heard one, for an awakening on Wall Street. Tom, thanks very much for joining us. Tom Kellermann of Core Security, a member of President Obama's Commission on Cybersecurity.